Hi folks, Todd Lowen here. I'm in the Carillon Room on the 5th floor of the Legislature. Some of the most impassioned debate in our province, from neighbourhood coffee shops to UCP Leadership Forum stages, has been the UCP government's pandemic management. This is perhaps the deepest divide between the party's establishment and the wider Conservative movement. How we deal with this issue will directly impact our ability to restore public trust and rebuild Conservative unity in time for the next provincial election. It is safe to say that none of us want to face another public health emergency like the recent pandemic. If we do, it is important to learn from our mistakes and address the systemic issues that left so many Albertans feeling confused, frustrated, and ignored. Here's a quick overview of my plan to do just that. My first commitment to you is simple and straightforward. No more lockdowns, period. Lockdowns destroyed many businesses and caused enormous job losses and personal damage. Now this is important. When I say no more lockdowns, I also mean no vaccine passports, period. The Kenney government's use of economic and social coercion to pressure Albertans into medical treatment was historically unprecedented and downright wrong. If we are to heal this division that this has created, we must start by dumping the entire concept of vaccine passports once and for all, and this means dismantling the QR code system, and it also means making vaccine status a personal matter and amending legislation to prevent the use of coercion through the loss of livelihoods or civil liberties. We also need to end any outstanding legal action against individuals, churches, and businesses charged under the pandemic-era health orders. There is no inherent value in enforcing temporary regulations that are already defunct, especially when politicians who blatantly broke those same laws, like in the Sky Palace drinking party, where we saw politicians like Jason Kenney and Travis Toews blatantly breaking the COVID rules. Also, we must end the continued discrimination against workers, students, and those on organ transplant lists, and end all bullying and harassment based on vaccine status. In addition to measures designed to turn the page on the pandemic, it is important that we make adjustments to ensure the mistakes of the COVID era are not repeated. This begins with strengthening democratic oversight. This is an issue I've spoken about repeatedly in the legislature, and I even have introduced legislation to this effect. It is not acceptable for cabinet or bureaucrats to operate without a democratically expressed mandate for months on end. Democracy matters more during an emergency rather than less. As such, I will require legal changes to ensure the Legislative Assembly is guaranteed a full debate and a vote before any public health state of emergency can be extended. This is vital because during the recent COVID-19 pandemic, no such vote was ever held. If Justin Trudeau and the federal government must seek House of Commons and Senate ratification for the Federal Emergencies Act, there is no good reason why Alberta's government can't seek similar ratification before extending a public health state of emergency. I will make legal changes to improve pandemic management transparency. I will require that Cabinet and medical officers of health table key health orders in the legislature, and MLAs must have access to a process to review, debate, revoke, or amend some of these measures. This is necessary to provide clarity and to counteract misinformation. Finally, I will order the legislative inquiry, possibly in the form of a royal commission, on pandemic management. Albertans want and deserve real answers on the government's COVID response. What policies were implemented during the pandemic and what science they were based upon. What approaches worked, what policies failed. In addition, a full accounting of every dime spent by government during the pandemic is needed. If we are going to turn the page on the pandemic, decision makers must be held accountable. This includes those who chose to award millions of dollars in bonuses to top-level bureaucrats and political staffers at a time when they were ordering the closure of private businesses across our province. To be clear, those officials who cannot provide suitable justification for their actions must be publicly dismissed for cause. That's the kind of leadership Albertans expect, and that's what I promise to deliver. If you agree with my efforts, please share this video with your family and friends. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.